And it looks like a majority of us are all here, so we'll get started. I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee. It's Tuesday, March 9th. It's 5:30. I will take roll call. Um, Myself present, Mr. Schultz,
Here.
Mr. Butita,
Here.
Ms. Crosby,
Here.
Mr. Arena,
Here.
Mr. Hoffman,
Present.
and Mr. McDonald.
Here.
All right, let the record reflect we do have a quorum. Our next item is public comment. Mr. Thompson, is there anyone signed up to speak today?
Oh, no, sir. No one has signed up to speak.
Perfect. So we will go ahead and admit the public comment and move on to item D, which is a budget ordinance to fund a Winnebago County CJCC program. Can I get a motion and a second, please? Motion by Mr. Hoffman, second by Ms. Crosby. Thank you very much. And for Mr. Thompson, Mr. Richter, to walk us through it, and if we have any questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an item that was initially discussed last Thursday at our Finance Committee meeting, and it is an ordinance amending the current year budget to allow for the transition of the CJCC program and coordinator from contracted position with R1 planning to Winnebago County. So there is a budget authorization and amendment which will enable this to occur. And then this item will also be discussed next week at the Public Safety and Judiciary Committee as a resolution, and then brought forward to our county board meeting in March. But it's in front of the Finance Committee because the budget needs to be amended to allow for this transition to occur. There were a couple of questions, I believe, from some of the committee members regarding the technical aspects of the actual budget amendment. And I believe Dave Rickert looked at the budget amendment and has accounted for some additional revenues. And he actually has shown the additional revenues both from the contract with Winnebago County and R1 in the amount of $20,000 annually. Also, a contribution from the city of Rockford in the amount of $10,000. And then also there is a reflection of the potential grant dollars that this position will procure for Winnebago County. And if you look at the historical performance of this position in terms of procuring grants, there's a very solid performance of achievement in terms of grant procurement. And I would expect that same type of performance to carry forward with the CJCC coordinator when the position is housed with the county. That's a little more difficult to actually show potential grant revenue dollars in terms of an actual budget amendment, but I believe Dave has tried to reflect that in the budget amendment document. So I believe we've achieved what the committee's main concern was, or main question. Also, in addition, if any committee members this evening have any questions regarding the program itself, I believe Marlena Dockett is on the call this evening. If you have any program type questions regarding what the CJCC does and its effectiveness for coordination of the stakeholders within the judicial system. So I believe Marlena is with us if you have those types of questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thompson and Marlena. Thank you for being on the line. Real quick, Mr. Thompson, and Mr. Richter. The $30,000 is essentially securing funding, grant funding, is that correct?
Dave, do you want to handle the financial question?
Correct. The question involves the allocation of $30,000 we've stipulated as potential grant revenue generated by this program. I think that's a very conservative number. We want to be conservative. We don't want to overstate revenue. And I think I mentioned that before. To give you an idea, what's been produced historically by the CJCC under R1P, there's an attachment B that shows you some examples of some grants that have been brought forward. So we're very hopeful that this program will generate a net positive for the county, but we want to be conservative with our estimates.
Okay. All right. And then, so as we have it laid out, the 4,000 is the coming out of the fund reserve, right? Fund balance.
That is correct.
I just wanted a clarification for that for everyone. Does anybody have any questions regarding either the program or the budget amendment itself? I know that Mr. Thompson said they're going to talk about this in the Public Safety Judiciary Committee, so more to come on that. But does anybody have any questions? Yes, Mr. Arena.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since she's on the call, if Ms. Dockin can just give a brief description of what the purpose of the CJCC is, just so that we all have a basic understanding.
Sure. The CJCC was developed in 2018 and formally established in 2017, formally established in 2018 to bring together stakeholders to better coordinate services on the local level. And additionally, there was a big need for us to coordinate with the state on a better level, and we've done that. As a matter of fact, they've used some of the research that we've done through the CJCC in Winnebago County for writing the new legislation. And Winnebago County is actually looked at as a model for how other counties should do business when it comes to criminal justice. Not many people know that, but it is true. So that's one of the things that we've done is coordinate better with the state. We also work with the reentry population and have a reentry multidisciplinary team. The Mayor's Task Force on Domestic Violence is one of our multidisciplinary teams, as is the Opioid Task Force through Winnebago County Health Department.
Okay.
So we work with those organizations to coordinate services to help them stay together and stay aligned and keep the community providers aligned and at one table.
Okay. Mr. Arena, follow up?
Nope. Thank you for the explanation. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Since we have Marlena on the line, I'd like to ask a quick question. I know you came out with, I want to say Loyola came out with the crime statistics and report that they did.
Yeah,
that
right.
2020 was a anomaly, I hear, with a little bit of gun violence and stuff like that. So the intention is, what does the CJ program do? Take that report and how does they incorporate or work with, whether it's through the state's attorney, the sheriff's department, the justice system to kind of create policies, or is that something that it
Exactly. Right. We want to use data to inform best practices and decision making. So instead of just guessing and saying, well, this is how it works in Wisconsin, we're not Wisconsin, we're Illinois, and the Illinois system works much differently than some other states. Like Wisconsin, for instance, probation and parole are one singular system, and there are two separate systems here. So that means that we need even more coordination if we want everybody to work together. And we come up with priorities every year, and then we deal with things as they come, like, for instance, the new legislation. But our priorities this year are to expand our dashboard. The dashboard is currently on the web page of the CJCC. We have it's updated every 3 months to reflect every branch of the justice system in Winnebago County, and that's currently undergoing expansion. Last year, we did they looked at probation versus parole, and they did an apples to apples comparison. And this was the first time it's ever been done in the state, which is why it was so important for our state leaders to understand. The Lieutenant Governor's office saw this report. This was presented at different statewide conferences without using our name. We were just called a large county in Illinois. But this was because we have the specialty courts that we have. They can show that sending somebody for certain crimes to prison or probation versus prison actually has, I believe it was a 16% decrease in recidivism by keeping them in the community and offering them services, as opposed to sending them to prison where they don't get services. So that was just one of the things this year. Prior to the legislation being handed down, we were going to look at bail reform as one of the things, and we're still going to look at it because I think now it's going to be helpful to understand what it looked like before and what it looked like after the legislation. So we have a researcher who is paid through the MacArthur Foundation. That's something that they do through the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, and who's the state administering agency. They're paying for the researcher and through MacArthur Foundation. So this is the state of Illinois. This came from the state, and it's being led by Loyola and the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority. We're one of 5 currently, and they want to expand statewide. The new administration, while they have a lot of things that they have on their plate, they are interested in CJCCs, and they have sent staff to meetings, and they're very supportive of CJCCs. So we see that the expansion across the state will continue.
Perfect. I thank you for those comments and giving us more in detail. It's perfect with everything that has transpired with the bill that just came down the pipeline and what's occurring. So I do with Loyola, the report that has come out with the crime statistics and the trends and everything like that. So I do appreciate it. I do think it's something that it's needed. So I want to thank you and your team for doing that and keeping up with everything that's going on, both. So that's very important to our region here, ensuring that we have best practices and everything like that. So much appreciated on that. Anybody have any questions itself? All right. Seeing none, thank you once again. We'll take a vote on this. So the budget ordinance to fund Winnebago County JCC program is on the table right now. So I'm going to take a roll call on the vote. Myself, I'm a yes. Ms. Crosby.
Yes.
Mr. Butita.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mr. Arena.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. McDonald.
Yes.
Yes. So we have a unanimous consent. So it passes on that. Thank you very much, everyone, for that. The next item is item E, other matters. Mr. Schultz, I know we kind of talked a little bit about yesterday about I don't know if you want to make that request now for the Finance Committee.
There's a pretty serious echo on the line. I don't know where it's coming from, but I'll bring up my item under new business on Thursday.
Sounds great. All right. Are there any other matters? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Mr. Hoffman and second by all in favor, please say by saying aye.
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 All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening.
See you later.
Bye-bye.